previously on small claims.
This isn't some spare change you can just forget. This is 500,000 pesos. Listen, do you want your money back or no?
Well, she better has the money. That's my girl.
Bakit mangutang tas di ka pala makapay? Tas pag may lawsuit na mag-cry, cry, cry away. Stick sa continuation ng ating storya. Di ko alam ang lyrics pero heto na! Babayaran kita, promise, promise yan. Babayaran kita, promise yan. Babayaran kita, wag lang ako makulong.
Section 1, Rule 30 of the Rules of Court provides that the parties shall strictly observe the scheduled hearing as agreed upon and set forth in the pre-trial order. The schedule of the trial dates for both plaintiff and defendant shall be continuous and within the following periods.
1. The initial presentation of plaintiff's evidence shall be set not later than 30 calendar days after the termination of the pre-trial conference. Plaintiff shall be allowed to present its evidence within a period of 3 months or 90 calendar days, which shall include the date of the judicial dispute resolution, if necessary. The initial presentation of defendant's evidence shall be set not later than 30 calendar days after the court's ruling on plaintiff's formal offer of evidence. The defendant shall be allowed to present its evidence within a period of 3 months or 90 calendar days. 3. The period for the presentation of evidence on the third, fourth, etc. party claim, counterclaim, or cross-claim shall be determined by the court, the total of which shall in no case exceed 90 calendar days. And lastly, 4. If deemed necessary, the court shall set the presentation of the parties' respective rebuttal evidence, which shall be completed within a period of 30 calendar days.
The trial dates may be shortened depending on the number of witnesses to be presented, provided that the presentation of evidence of all parties shall be terminated within a period of 10 months or 300 calendar days. The court shall decide and serve copies of the decision to the parties not exceeding 90 calendar days from the submission of the case for resolution with or without memoranda.
Section 2. Adjournments and postponements. A court may adjourn the trial from day to day and to any stated time, as the expeditions and convenience transactions of business may require. The party who caused the postponement is warned that the presentation of its evidence must still be terminated on the remaining days previously agreed upon.
Section 3, Requisites of Motion to Postpone Trial for Illness of Party or Counsel, states that a motion to postpone a trial on the ground of illness of a party or counsel may be granted if it appears upon affidavit or sworn certification that the presence of such party or counsel at the trial is indispensable and that the character of his or her illness is such as to render his or her non-attendance excusable.
Section 4. Hearing days and calendar call. Trial shall be held from Monday to Thursday and courts shall call the cases at exactly 8:30 a.m. and 2 o'clock p.m. Pursuant to the Administrative Circular Number 3-99, hearing on motion shall be held on Fridays pursuant to Section 8, Rule 15. All courts shall ensure the posting of their court calendars outside their courtrooms at least 1 day before the scheduled hearings pursuant to OCA Circular Number 250-2015.
We don't have Lamau here.
Wait, Besh, wait.
Besh? Seriously? You lost the right to call me that ever since you scammed my husband. What in the mother?
She's just trying to apologize, Natasha.
Well, the apology has to amount to 100,000 pesos.
And I already paid ages ago.
Do you think of me a begging peasant that would lighten up with your search for forgiveness?
Why did you suddenly speak in Game of Thrones?
Besh, I mean it. I'm so sorry. I would do anything to have you as my friend. Again, I was stupid and careless and stupid and dumb. And I said stupid 2 times, but you know what I mean. I would say the heavens and the earth. Do you love her?
You don't have to bridge upon your way to my heart once. Ew.
Thank God I don't have to be a lawyer around the two of you.
Shut up, I'm still pissed at you.
Come inside.
Finally.
Looks great. Cheers.
So how's your boyfriend? What is wrong with you?
Gods of the heavens and earth!
Why is she in Bridgerton speaking?
Hush! I just watched the 3rd season with hubby. Thou shalt not judge and exalt one's highness.
Okay.
Listen, it's my husband's birthday this coming 15th, and oh my god, I want to buy him a car! A Rolls Royce.
Girl, that's like 5 years worth of my life.
Shut up! It's not like you don't have a brand new Jeep, huh?
It's nothing. It's just a car.
It costs more than my glutathione session, so who are we kidding? Oh, why the long face?
Why don't you sell your franchise?
For what reason exactly?
Well, Rolls Royce costs millions, and I know you're filthy rich, but you need to sell your old car to get a new one. And it's hard to pay taxes for luxury cars, you know.
Finally! Something smart out of your mouth!
Hey, girl!
Kidding.
And how are you going to pay for it exactly?
Remember the 50-year-old Australian I met in Bumble?
The rich CEO with millions up his butt?
Not. That is one unproductive way of leading a business.
Point is, he has money. You're purging him?
I'd call it exhausting my connections, but purging will do.
So you're gonna buy my car.
Yeah, I'll have Caleb pay for you.
Caleb? His name, Caleb?
What is wrong with you today?
What is wrong with his parents naming him the whitest name in the world?
Close enough. That's John, but whatever. What if ulog-ulog? Cause my car isn't easy money, girl.
How much, Bash?
2.1 million.
That's okay. I'll give you a down payment of 200,000. How about that?
Not bad.
But the rest should be payable within the year. Let's not have a repeat of what happened.
There will be no repeats. Okay, pinky promise.
Pinky.
There is a time for joy, a time for sorrow, a time for wine. Ecclesiastes is God's testament to this. And yet there is always time for lies. There is a time for utang. There is a time for realization. And there is time for lawsuits.
All rise. The court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Beverly de la Cruz presiding. Everyone is hereby enjoined to observe proper court decorum and maintain silence. Let us first pray the ecumenical prayer of the court.
Almighty God, we stand in your holy presence as our supreme judge. We humbly beseech you to bless and inspire us so that what we think, say, and do will be in accordance with your will. Enlighten our minds, strengthen our spirits, and fill our hearts with eternal love, wisdom, and understanding, so that we can become effective channels of truth, justice, and peace in our proceedings today. Guide us in the path of righteousness for the fulfillment of your greater glory. Amen.
Call the case. Case number 1, civil case number 001, Natasha Perez versus Wanda de la Rosa for collection of sum of money. Appearances, please.
Good morning, Your Honor. I am Attorney Irish Santos, respectfully appearing as counsel for the plaintiff.
Good morning, Your Honor. I am Attorney Regine Mendoza, respectfully appearing as counsel for the defendant.
Counsels, today is scheduled for initial trial for the presentation of the plaintiff's evidence. Are you ready?
We are ready to present our lone witness for our evidence in chief, Your Honor.
Call your witness to the witness stand to swear in.
We are calling our witness, Natasha Perez, to the witness stand.
Swear the witness. Please state your name, address, and other personal circumstances.
Witness is Natasha Perez, 36 years old, married, and a resident of Block 2, Lot 6, Camellia Homes, General Santos City.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may proceed.
Your Honor, the witness will testify based on the judicial affidavit rule. She will identify her judicial affidavit, which will form part of her direct testimony in this case. The testimony of the witness, Your Honor, is being offered for the following purposes. That she offered to sell her car on installment to the defendant, that the defendant executed and signed a deed of conditional sale in favor of the plaintiff, that the defendant took possession of her car after the sale, that the defendant failed to pay 3 monthly amortizations and breached the deed of conditional sale, that the plaintiff demanded the payment of the unpaid amortizations, and that the defendant failed to pay the same.
Any comment from the defendant?
No comment, Your Honor.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may proceed.
Miss Witness, in connection with this case, do you remember executing a judicial affidavit?
Yes, ma'am.
If the said judicial affidavit will be shown to you, will you be able to identify it?
Yes, ma'am.
Attached to this record to this case is a 6-page judicial affidavit. Please examine this and tell the Honorable Court if it is the same judicial affidavit.
Yes, this is the judicial affidavit which I executed in relation to this case.
On page 5 of the said affidavit appears the name Natasha Perez and a signature superimposed on such name. Whose name and signature is this?
This is my name and signature.
Kindly go over these documents which you mark into your judicial affidavit as exhibits A to C. Will you confirm to this Honorable Court that these are true and intended attachment to your judicial affidavit?
Yes, ma'am. These are the documents which I mentioned and attached to the judicial affidavit.
Do you have anything more to add in your judicial affidavit?
No more.
Will you affirm the truthfulness and veracity of your statements in your judicial affidavit?
Yes, sir.
We pray, Your Honor, that the judicial affidavit identified by the witness be marked as our Exhibit B.
Please mark it accordingly. Already marked, Your Honor.
That is all for the witness, Your Honor. The witness is now ready to be cross-examined.
Are you ready to cross-examine the witness? Counsel for the defendants?
Yes, Your Honor, we have a few questions.
You may proceed, counsel.
Good morning, Miss Natasha. In question number 4 of your judicial affidavit, when asked if the vehicle, which is the subject of deed of conditional sale, is in good and running condition, you answered in the affirmative. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
You answered this question based on your opinion because you are not a mechanic by profession. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Being not an expert in car maintenance, you do not have the skills and capacity to determine whether a running vehicle is in good or running condition. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That being said, is it possible that at the time of the execution of the deed of conditional sale involving the subject vehicle, the said vehicle has hidden defect which you did not able to recognize because you are not an expert in car maintenance? Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
No further question, Your Honor.
Redirect.
No redirect, Your Honor.
You are now excused, Miss Natasha.
The witness is our lone witness, Your Honor, and we move to offer the following exhibits to be admitted into evidence. As our Exhibit A, the deed of conditional sale dated February 14, 2023, executed by the defendant in favor of the plaintiff, to prove that the plaintiff and the defendant entered into an installment sale transaction involving the subject vehicle. As our Exhibit B, the demand letter dated October 3, 2023, executed by the plaintiff to prove that the plaintiff demanded from the defendant the payments of his unpaid amortizations. As our Exhibit C, the certificate to file action dated November 25, 2023, issued by the Office of the Punong Barangay, Barangay Lagao, to prove that the plaintiff exhausted the remedies available under the Katarungang Pambarangay Law. And as our Exhibit B, the judicial affidavit of the plaintiff, dated March 1, 2024, to prove the material allegations in her complaint. We pray, Your Honor, that these exhibits be admitted in evidence for the plaintiff as proof of the material allegations in her complaint.
Any comments or objections from the defense as to the exhibits being offered for admission by the plaintiffs from Exhibits A to Exhibits D? Attorney Mendoza.
No comment for the defense, Your Honor.
With the admission of the said exhibits for the plaintiff, we will now rest our case.
Order. In today's presentation of the plaintiff's evidence in chief, the plaintiff's counsel called to the witness stand its lone witness, Ms. Natasha Perez. The plaintiff identified her judicial affidavit and the documentary exhibits attached thereto, which formed part of her direct testimony. The defendant's counsel propounded cross-examination questions. The plaintiff's counsel orally offered for admission the documentary exhibits marked as Exhibits A to D, and the same was admitted. With the testimony of the plaintiff's witness and the admission of the documentary exhibits, the plaintiff rested its case. The hearing for the presentation of the defense evidence in chief is set on April 5, 2024. There being no matter to be tried, the hearing is hereby adjourned. Counsels, today is scheduled trial for the presentation of the defendant's evidence. Counsel for the defendants, are you ready?
We are ready to present our lone witness for our evidence in chief, Your Honor.
Call your witness to the witness stand to be sworn in.
We are calling our witness, Wanda de la Rosa, to the witness stand.
Swear in the witness. Please state your name, address, and other personal circumstances.
Witness is Wanda de la Rosa, 37 years old, married, and a resident of Block 5, Lot 9, Isabella Homes, General Santos City.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may proceed.
Your Honor, the witness will testify based on judicial affidavit rule. She will identify her judicial affidavit, which will form part as her direct testimony in this case. The testimony of the witness, Your Honor, is being offered for the following purposes. That she religiously paid for her monthly amortization with the plaintiff, that she sought the assistance of an expert car mechanic to repair the subject vehicle, that she stopped paying the subsequent amortizations because of the hidden defect of the vehicle, which is considered a breach of the provision of the deed of conditional sale as far as the plaintiff is concerned.
Any comment from the plaintiff?
No comment, Your Honor.
May we proceed, Your Honor?
You may proceed.
Miss Witness, in connection with this case, do you remember executing a judicial affidavit? Yes, ma'am.
If the said judicial affidavit will be shown to you, will you be able to identify it?
Yes, ma'am.
Attached to the record of this case is a 5-page judicial affidavit. Please examine this and tell the Honorable Court if it is the same judicial affidavit that you are referring to.
Yes, this is a judicial affidavit which I executed in relation to this case.
On page 4 of the said affidavit appears the name Wanda de la Rosa and a signature superimposed on such name. Whose name and signature is this?
That is my name and signature.
Ms. Witness, you attached several documents to your judicial affidavit. Kindly go over these documents, which you marked in your judicial affidavit as Exhibit 1 to 3. Will you confirm this Honorable Court that these are the true and intended attachments to your judicial affidavit?
Yes, ma'am. These are the documents which I mentioned and attached to the judicial affidavit.
Do you have anything more to add on your judicial affidavit?
No more.
Will you affirm the truthfulness and veracity of your statements in your judicial affidavit?
Yes, ma'am.
We pray, Your Honor, that the judicial affidavit identified by the witness be marked as our Exhibit 4.
Please mark it accordingly. Already marked, Your Honor.
That is all for the witness, Your Honor. The witness is ready to be cross-examined.
Are you ready to cross-examine the witness?
Yes, Your Honor. We have a few questions. You may proceed, counsel.
Good morning, Ms. Wanda. In question number 5 of your judicial affidavit, when asked of the reason why you have stopped paying the monthly amortization of the subject vehicle, you answered that it is because of the hidden defect of the subject vehicle. Is that correct? Yes, ma'am. Thus, the plaintiff is not aware of this defect. Yes, ma'am.
Irason natin na sira yung sasakyan.
No further questions, Your Honor.
Redirect.
No redirect, Your Honor.
You are now excused, Ms. Wanda.
The witness is our lone witness, Your Honor, and we move to offer the following exhibits to be admitted into evidence. As our Exhibit 1, the acknowledgement receipt dated March 25, 2023, issued by the plaintiff in favor of the defendant to prove that the defendant paid the first monthly amortization of the subject vehicle. Our Exhibit 2, the acknowledgement receipt dated April 25, 2023, issued by the plaintiff in favor of the defendant to prove that the defendant paid the second monthly amortization of the subject vehicle. Our Exhibit 3, the car mechanic sheet, dated April 30, 2023, to prove that the subject vehicle was being checked by an expert mechanic. And as our Exhibit 4, the judicial affidavit of the defendant dated April 18, 2024, to prove that the material allegations in her acts. We pray, Your Honor, that these exhibits be admitted in evidence for the defendant as proof of the material allegations in her acts.
Any comments or objections from the plaintiff as to the exhibits being offered for admission by the defendant from Exhibits 1 to Exhibits 4 under Santos?
We object to the admission of Exhibit 3, Your Honor, because this document was presented during pre-trial.
Any comment from the defendant?
Your Honor, this is a newly discovered evidence. In the interest of substantial justice, we pray that we be allowed to present it because this is material to the defense of the defendant.
The court will rule on this matter and hereby allows the presentation of this newly discovered evidence in the interest of substantial justice.
With the admission of the said exhibits for the defendant, we will now rest our case.
We will not object to the admission of Exhibit 3 for the defendant, Your Honor, but we pray that we be allowed to present the rebuttal evidence in the next hearing.
Your motion is granted. Order. In today's presentation of the defendant's evidence in chief, the defendant's counsel called to the witness stand its lone witness, Ms. Wanda. The defendant identified her judicial affidavit and the documentary exhibits attached thereto which formed part of her direct testimony. The plaintiff's counsel propounded cross-examination questions. The defendant's counsel orally offered for admission their documentary exhibits marked as Exhibits 1 to 4. The plaintiff's counsel objected to the admission of Exhibit 3 because this document was not presented during the pre-trial. The court resolved to admit the same in the interest of substantial justice but allow the plaintiff to present rebuttal evidence in the next hearing. With the testimony of the defendant's witness and the admission of their documentary exhibits, the defendant rested its case. The court allowed the presentation of rebuttal evidence in favor of the plaintiff because of the admission of a newly discovered evidence for the defendant. The hearing for the presentation of the rebuttal evidence is set on May 5, 2024. There being no matter to be tried, the hearing is hereby adjourned. Counsels, today is scheduled trial for the presentation of rebuttal evidence for the plaintiff. Are you ready?
We are ready to present our witness for a rebuttal, Your Honor.
Call your witness to the witness stand to be sworn in.
Witness is Paula Bautista, 30 years old, married, and a resident of Block 8, Lot 4, Sampaloc Street, General Santos City, car mechanic.
May I proceed, Your Honor?
You may proceed.
Your Honor, the witness will testify based on judicial affidavit rule. She will identify his judicial affidavit, which will form part of her direct testimony in this case. The testimony of the witness, Your Honor, is being offered for the following purposes: that she is an expert car mechanic, that she has examined the car mechanic sheet presented by the defendant, that she discovered several inconsistencies in the report of the said defendant's car mechanic sheet.
Any comment from the defendant?
No comment, Your Honor.
You may proceed.
Miss Witness, in connection with this case, do you remember executing a judicial affidavit?
Yes, ma'am.
If the said judicial affidavit will be shown to you, will you be able to identify it?
Yes, ma'am.
Attached to the record of this case is a 6-page judicial affidavit. Please examine this and tell to the Honorable Court if this is the same judicial affidavit that you are referring to.
Yes, this is the judicial affidavit which I extended in relation to this case.
On page 5, check. The said affidavit appears the name Paula Bautista and a signature superimposed on such name. Whose name and signature is this?
This is my name and signature.
Miss Witness, you attached several documents to your judicial affidavit. Can we go over the documents which you mark in your judicial affidavit as A to C? Will you confirm to this honorable court that these are the true and intended attachment to your judicial affidavit?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have anything more to add in your judicial affidavit?
No more.
Will you affirm the truthfulness and veracity of your statements in your judicial affidavit?
Yes, ma'am.
We pray, Your Honor, that the judicial affidavit identified by the witness be marked as our Exhibit E.
Please mark it accordingly. Already marked, Your Honor.
That is all for the witness, Your Honor. The witness is now ready to be cross-examined.
Are you ready to cross-examine the witness, counsel for the defendant?
Yes, Your Honor. We have a few questions.
You may proceed, counsel.
Good morning, Miss Paula. In question number 3 of your judicial affidavit, when asked if you actually examined the subject vehicle to serve as the basis of your opinion, you answered in the negative. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
This just shows that your opinion is purely based on the narrative as reflected in the car mechanic sheet presented by the defendant. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
That being said, you cannot exactly convey to the Honorable Court that your opinion is not accurate on the issue as expressed in the car mechanic sheet presented by the defendant. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
No further question, Your Honor.
Redirect.
No redirect, Your Honor.
You are now excused, Miss Paula.
The witness is our last witness, Your Honor, and we move to offer Exhibit E, the judicial affidavit of the rebuttal witness, to prove that he examined the car mechanic sheet presented by the defendant and found out several inconsistencies in the narrative as expressed thereto. We pray, Your Honor, that this exhibit be admitted in evidence for the plaintiff.
Any comments or objections from the defense as Exhibit E being offered for admission by the plaintiff, Attorney Mendoza?
No comment for the defense, Your Honor.
Order. In today's presentation of the plaintiff's rebuttal evidence, the plaintiff's counsel called to the witness stand its rebuttal witness, Ms. Paula Bautista. The plaintiff identified his judicial affidavit and was duly cross-examined by the defense. The plaintiff's counsel orally offered for admission of the judicial affidavit of its rebuttal witness without comment or objection from the defendant. The same was admitted. The plaintiff and the defendant having rested their case, this case is now submitted for decision. Set the promulgation of the session on June 5, 2024. There being no matter to be tried, the hearing is hereby adjourned.